Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm Mayank Agarwal and in this video we are going to start by defining our own functions. I hope the basic idea about function is clear from the yesterday's video in which we kind of I would say understood what function exactly are. Again, that is very important. Now let's start by defining our own function and actually unlock the true potential of Python. Okay, so let's start. So now let us begin and understand about defining our own function in Python. So till now we have actually used lots of inbuilt function, print, length, input, then importing from math, square root and other functions. But now we will actually learn how we can define our own functions. We are going to start with a very easy, I would say, length function only. So we are going to define a length function, which is going to do what len function internally does, so that it is easier to understand. Okay, so yeah, let us see for the length function. Now first let us go to notes and see the syntax. So see, when you want to define your own function, this is how the syntax goes. Okay, pay attention here everyone. Yeah, so we write def, okay, basically define function name. We have something known as inputs. So input is basically, if you will see, some functions are there which expects you input, right? Print expects that you are passing it what you want it to print. Similarly, in a similar way, length expects that, okay, for what you want a length of. Okay, now function can have that, function can not have that. So I'm going to show you both of them. Then the next one is your body of code. Again, that is indented. So I think from loop and conditionals, you will be having a very good idea that what indentation does to your code. So overall, this is how this happens. Okay, the indentation is there. Brackets are of course not there because Python, it works on indentation, and then normal flow starts. So everything is same. Like once you go inside your, I would say, indented code, you can write if statement, for statement, that is gonna get executed when you basically I would say execute the function. So the flow is gonna come to that indented code. There are two things: function definition, function calling. So now let us understand each and every one of them one by one. Okay, great. So see, maybe let me just make it a little bit easy first. So first, let us say I have a greet function. Okay, so I'm making a greet function. So see, def, it will turn into green because it's a keyword. Python knows that you are trying to define a function. Then greet. Then a very important thing is this colon. Okay, so if you will see, colon is there as well. Then once you press enter, it goes into an indentation. Let's say I'm just printing hello Mayank here, or let's say hello Python, right? Now, as of now, the function has just been defined. We have not called it. Now, how I can show you the same as well is, see, if I just visualize the overall thing now, pay attention. Here, as of now, just this in this global frame, a function is created. You are not called it as of now. So we have just defined in our washing machine ki, dekho, you have to wash clothes. This is what you will do if functions are, if you are called, if someone uses that. But we have not used that as of now. So this thing is very, very important. As of now, you will not see anything. Okay. You will see something once you call this function. So by greet, by now calling this name of this function, like, see, name is how you identify the function. You will be able to call this function, hello Python, right? Now it will be doing everything which you specify to do. For example, print end of function, and see, you have to read, basically, I would say, define it. And once you call it again, then it's gonna call. So pay attention now, everyone. If I just call it inside, and now if I visualize the whole execution, first the function gets overall, I would say, defined. First the function is getting defined. Then in this line, greet line, so the next line to execute is red one, right? Greet line, when it call it, okay, it goes here. As of now, it will just know that, okay, here greets function is defined. It will now start its execution. See, now the next line will go on this thing, and this will get executed, and we will see hello Python here. Return value, we will see that why it is done and everything, but yeah, and we will come back. We are done with our program. Okay, so I hope this thing is very much helpful. Let me just do it once again for you all. First, we are defining our greet function. So this get defined in the memory. Now our Python knows that there is a greet function somewhere in the memory. Okay. When you call this greet function, Python goes and see in the memory that, okay, exactly where is this greet function defined and what it does. Okay. So let me just make sure that I'm able to explain a little better. Yeah, cool. So as of now, this block of code, Python knows that, okay, somewhere in the memory, this block of code is there. Okay. Then when I go and call the greet function, it knows and it finds that, okay, where this block of code is. It finds in the global frame that, yes, this block of code is available. So let us go here. Now when I press next, now when I press next, okay, pay attention. It goes to this first line. Let me clear everything. It goes to the first line. Then it goes inside the function, because that is what happens when we call it, right? What all the steps which we have actually defined for the function, it gets executed, and overall it is able to do the same. and comes out. Okay, so I hope the overall flow of the function now is very much clear. We are going to edit this code again. See. Now the next thing is, let me remove this and redefine it. Now the next thing is two things. If I do greet2 and run it like this, it's going to give you an error. Okay, it is running and it's giving an error that, hey, I don't know where greet2 is. You define greet, I know that, but greet2 is not there. I hope this is the right spelling of greet, but anyway, should be fine. Okay, or let me make it hello function. That would be better. But anyways, okay, great. So if I call hello2, it's going to give an error that, yeah, hello to, so I'm not aware. Hello, I am aware. Okay, that's the very first thing. Second thing is, and two things you have to understand here very nicely, that it doesn't, so see, say like, if I want to say hello to me, you, or I would say Python or any other thing, Java, C++, something like that, right? It doesn't make sense here. I will be creating functions like this, def hello, okay, then let's say hello Python, then I would be doing hello Java, something like this. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The reason is that you're doing same thing, but you are making different function for that. It doesn't matter like if you have to wash clothes, okay, for winter or summer, like you just put them and they get washed. Like of course there are different modes if that is required, but if it is not required, then it is not needed, right? So in a similar way, it doesn't make sense. Maybe if we can make some change into our function through which it can basically, I would say, read the same thing, then that will be a lot helpful. And that is where this particular thing comes into picture. So the thing which I was telling you about the argument inputs, that is where it will come into picture, and that is what we are going to see as well. But overall, I hope you get the overall idea that, okay, function defining and function calling are the two things which we basically work on. Now let us see about this return and void code. Okay, return and void. So see, what happened is that when, let's say, you are washing your clothes, your washing machine, it returns you back those clothes, right? It is returning you back something, okay, which you can catch into some variable or something which you actually have with you now. For example, now pay attention because this is very much important. Edge, yeah. So pay attention here, everyone. This code, it is not returning you anything. Okay, so return is a keyword again which returns you, like it can actually give you back something. Your function can either give you back something or it can just work as it is. For example, when we eat, it's just a normal function. We are not returning anything. We just eat the food and we are done. But washing machine, it returns you back your clean clothes. Okay. So what can happen is, what can actually happen in that way is, so we can make, let's say, hello and return. What it's going to do is it's going to return me this hello Python string. Now this time it is not printing it, it's returning it. Now by default, every function returns something. If you have not specified, then it is going to return null. So if you remember here, this was what was happening, right? If I go on next, see, it is saying greet return value none. So by default, it will be returning none, and I can prove you that as well. So let's say if I make hello Python, if I just catch the value in return ret, I would say thing, then pay attention. This got printed, but my ret is none. So it will not get printed like this. If I have to print this and see, ret is none because none is returned. But here, if I do the same thing in the hello return, if I call this function ret hello, I think I have not defined it. Yeah, return. So this time when the flow goes to this function, it is not printing it. It returns this value, and I can cache the return value in a new variable. Okay, it's exactly the same. Like let's say you are washing the clothes. Clothes come to you as after becoming clean, and you are able to catch or get those clothes back, right? So in a similar way, now you will not see this print hello Python because see, here it was print, so that was getting executed. Okay, here I am returning it. Now, if I just print my return, it is having hello Python in this, right? So that is where I would say the difference between return and void function comes into the picture. For example, another example is when you log in. Okay, you're not getting anything back. You just log in, so you're not getting anything. It's all fine. Okay, you just log into your code. But when you click video is coming back to you. You're able to basically see the video and everything. So functions are actually of these two types in every language. It can either return something or it can not. In Python, actually, it returns none by default. In Java, C++, we have to define them as void. So that's why I've taken this void terminology here. Function which doesn't return anything. Okay. So these are the kind of function of, for example, in a very similar way. Yeah. So in a very similar way, if we call this print hello, and let us see if print was a return type function or not. Okay. So it is printing hello. And print is not returning anything. Okay, it is not a function which is returning you something. So you will have to understand this thing. In a very similar way, let us now see what is the kind of function of, I would say, length. So if I do length of hello, it seems to return you length. It is not printing it. So length returns you the length. It is saying return the number of items. Okay. And this you will see print the values to a stream or std out. Like it is printing the value. It is not returning you anything. Okay. So I hope this is clear a lot, everyone. Now I can just show you the same thing. If I just change the code here, if I just change the code here and I just call this function, right? So see, first it will get defined in a hello return, I would say space. Then when we call it hello return, then def. As of now, it is returning. It is returning. It is not printing. So we will not get anything in the print command. And it is returning the value hello Python. We have to make sure that we are able to catch it in some variable so that we can use it further. And yes, now it's fine. We are not returning anything. I've shown you the example with print as well. Print just print the value. It is not returning you what it has to print. But length on the other hand just gives you back that value. Now, one more thing what happened is that Jupyter, this Jupyter lab, if a function returns something, it just print that out. Okay. If a function returns something, it just print that out. So that's why you were seeing it 5 here. Okay. But in real sense, it is not doing, this is not what happens. For example, if I will just call this hello return, it is going to return something and my Jupyter notebook is going to print that out. See, hello Python. But that is not the case in Python by default, in the Python compiler normally. So here, that's why you're not seeing that return or that printed. Okay. So always remember this thing, everyone. What is the difference between return and I would say return versus void? Okay. So now let us move and I would say understand about this parameter and argument. So what happens, everyone, is now it's a good time to move to the length function. See, I can define my length function like this similarly. Okay. But in this length function, it will define some input. So it will expect some input to you. Now what you can do is you can do for I in input. Let's say you have an answer which is equals to 0. You can do answer plus equals to 1 and you can return this answer. So here this input is required. If you don't take this input, like for what are you gonna, I would say calculate the length of. If for example, if you call this length function, it's giving you an error. Length take exactly one argument, 0 given. It expects this object. It is expecting this object which you are not providing. Similarly, if we are making our own length function, we will have to make sure that we define it in a way that we are able to pass something to it. Right. So that thing again is very important, and that is where I would say overall use case of parameter and argument comes into picture. So remember one thing, everyone, they are used a lot interchangeably and that is fine. But this is normally known as, so this is known as parameter. Okay. And when I will call, let's say this with hello, this is what is known as argument. This is what is known as argument. Okay, everyone. So the way I remember it is argument is actual. So this is your actual, I would say, word, right? So let's say if I take an input from the user and he entered hello Python, then that is my actual input. Okay. When the flow goes like this, another input variable is created, which is having the same value of what you will pass it here. Okay. I'm going to show you this all in Python tutor as well. But what happened is that overall a copy is created of this input code, which has the same value as here. And now your whole code runs with that particular value and you're now returning the same as well. So let us see the same in action. So let me actually define two things here. Now pay attention, everyone. I'm going to define, let's say S1 here. S1 is your Python and I'm providing S1 here. See, it is giving me 6. Now let us understand the same thing with code as well. And you will understand this a lot nicely with this execution. Okay, and I will have to, because this is returning it, maybe I can catch it somewhere and then I can print the same so that it is, you will be able to see the result as well. So pay attention, everyone. Now once I did this length, length got defined in a globe, like in my Python, it knows now that length is there. I'm defining it S1. So see, S1 is getting defined here. Okay, this is my actual argument. Now when I provide length S1, pay attention what happens. The length, object or a block of length gets created. In the input, it got Python this time. Okay, in the input, it got Python. Now everything is gonna happen just the way it's gonna happen in your input. So for I in input, it is not working on S1, it is working on input. So pay attention. Answer is equals to 0. For I in input, it's gonna run it like multiple times. It's gonna run and it's gonna find the same thing. So I is gonna increase. So this looping you already know. And then it's gonna return me the answer finally. It's gonna return me the answer finally. Once it returns me the answer, pay attention what will happen. An L is basically created, that block is destroyed. Input is also destroyed, that block is also destroyed because it has done its work. Okay, now it will not hold any value. In L you get 6 because it was returned and you can now print the value as well. Okay, So I hope this was a lot clear. Now let me just explain you one more thing here. So if I make S2 here, and let's say if I make it ABC, and if I do L2 is equals to length of S2. Now also pay attention exactly everyone what happens. Pay attention. See, this time first the length block is defined. When I call it for Python, and when this length gets called actually, I get input as Python. This time my input is Python. Okay, so everything will got run here. So should be fine. Maybe if I can just draw. Yeah. So here it is calculated to this. So that's why now we can return answer. Okay. Now in my L1, you will see that this will get destroyed now because it has done its work. Okay. It got its completion, like it has completed everything here. I'm going to get my L is equals to 6. Now, second time when I'm calling it with S2, S2 is going to get defined here. I'm going to see an input as ABC. So maybe I should not have this thing. Yeah. And let us go here only. Pay attention everyone. So see, this time what is happening? This time their input is ABC. It is not Python this time. Now everything is going to get started again. Answer is going to be 0 again. The whole block basically reinitializes itself. I is going to be A first, then B first, then C first. And finally, when I go to answer, okay, it is going to return my answer and L2 is going to get 3 this time. So see, return value it's saying it's 3. It's going to be 3. And when I now print L1 and L2, you get 6 and 3. So these are your actual arguments. These are your actual values of their arguments. Now this input, it can take any value, right? It was taking Python first and then ABC second. So it is a parameter. Okay. So I hope this was clear everyone, that what is the difference between parameter and arguments. So this again is very much important to understand. I hope that I have made it clear. If anyone has any doubt, please ask in the comments and I will make sure that I clear them. So this is what is written as well. Parameter is a variable linked inside bracket in function definition. So when I'm defining my function, see, here was where I was defining my function. That is where this parameter is written. Arguments are actual values sent while calling a function. So when I'm calling this function, when I'm calling this particular function, the actual value which I'm passing, this S1, S2, they are your arguments. Now they will be used a lot interchangeably, but you will have to understand that you basically always remember the difference here. Okay. So great. I hope everyone this thing was clear as well. Now, yeah, I think this was all in this, and of course a lot of things we have discussed. So please make sure that you have understood this thing very nicely, everyone, that what is this argument and what is this return and void part. This I hope is a lot helpful. What I would say is just try to now write some codes, write some code and basically run the same on Python tutor as well and see if it's going to return the value or not. Okay, that way you will be very much, I would say, having an idea. You're going to see this S1 and S2 everything here so that you can actually tell that, okay, what exactly is happening, where this input argument, parameter gets created, why this is a parameter. All these things should be, I think, a lot clear to you. So in this video, just to wrap it up a little bit quickly, we learned about how to define our own functions. We saw that functions can actually take the arguments, functions are of two types, return and void, and then they can take a argument as well, okay, internally, which they make as a parameter and they can work on them. So these are the very important things. In the next video, we are going to learn about types of argument, which again is something where a little bit, I would say, tricky to understand, but yeah, I'm going to make it a lot easy for you. Okay. Cool then everyone, I hope this was helpful. So please make sure that you revise them. If anyone has any doubt, just ask in the comments. Like and share this video a lot. That would be very much helpful and motivating. I hope you're liking the way I'm teaching because I'm putting a lot of effort into that. All the handwritten notes, everything. So just the way I have to make sure that I give you the intuitive as well as I would say the practical example. So yeah, if you're liking that, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon. Also share that with all your friends in your college everywhere so that most people can learn Python, because I believe that it's going to be very much helpful in the era of AI going forward. Okay, cool then. Thanks everyone. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.